one of the things that I've been kind of ruminating on and like thinking about is like, what are some of the like key characteristics that you see in terms of like projects or common mistakes that you see in projects that go sideways and don't progress
That's a
forward?
great question. That's why I keep him around. He's just great at, I mean, clarity and good questions. It's like,
That's the DT, right?
It
well, it's
is.
the D, in particular, the D. Yes, that
Yes.
clarity of like asking the right, inquiring in the right ways. Where I just kind
Yeah.
of scattershot. I'm like, and he's like, laser on the target, and boom,
Shoot.
bullseye. It's in. That's why we're a great
Well,
team.
let's see. So, projects that go sideways. Um, I am going to answer that by focusing on the best project that I have ever been on, and what that brought, to have that success. So, and I'm probably going to be pretty repetitive here because I learned so much from that project and work really hard to bring it forward to what I do now. Um, but I had, early in my career, early in my project management career, when I was at Sutter Health, there was a project that I would say I don't think that you could find a team member of that project that would not say that was the best project I have ever worked on. Um, and we were collaborative, we were friends, we were, everyone had each other's back. Um,
Mm.
there was no gaming going on. Everyone was in it for the owner and the benefit of the project. Um, there was no one was selfishly trying to get more of the pie, or like everyone was really had each other's back. So I think that the contrary to that would be really, along with, there's always, so I'd say that's a big component. And then another thing to note is, there's a process. Everything has a process, and there's, approvals along that path of that process. And I find that, when we think that we can get around the process, that never goes well.
Mm.
We work with regulatory agencies that have, that process very well defined. And when we think that, um, I don't have to do that step now because I need to get moving on X, Y, and Z. So we're gonna kind of skirt around that right now, or we're gonna, think that we can push that regulatory agency into, come on, we need this like yesterday, when they have, I mean, we're talking government entities, and so, they have their
Yeah.
processes and they have their timelines, and working with those timelines instead of fighting them, and uh, respecting those processes, is key to a successful project as well.
That was a phenomenal and an excellent answer. And I know Justin has like 20 sports analogies ready to go. So, I think two
They
things
are
two things
ready.
I'll highlight before I throw him the 20-yard pass. There's the famous college football coach, Nick Saban, and like his mantra to every single team is, trust the process, trust the process,
Mhm.
trust the
Yeah.
process, right? And like there's teams that you see that are just like stacked with these, all-star players, and they're not always the most successful necessarily because personal egos can come into play, and they try to do what was going to be best for them, that particular instance, particular play, as opposed to the overall well-being of the team. So
Yeah.
I think being able just to keep the end goal in mind and realize like, hey, we're just one giant team here, like, and we're just trying to move the ball forward and execute success. So Justin, do you have any sports analogies to drop on us?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. Well, yes, it's interesting. Kurt Signetti, he that same trust the process, and he talked about how he's always grouchy and during games, but it's actually that he's setting an example. Like he loves his team, and he sets the example for them of what he expects from them. So that like setting the expectations, and then if I want them to trust the process and work just keeping that standard of excellence of who we are, like I need to keep that standard of excellence. And I think that excellence through the process as the leader is so important because it also and then the other analogy really quick is just that there's so many stories like the hurricane season, the movie, there's true story. There's the Giants in their 2010 championship. There's all these stories of like a team that was dysfunctional. And then the leader or the person who was influential, who was a non-love in action, a non-leader who was bringing the team together, but he was being very selfish and self-oriented. Like, it's not good for me. I'm not doing it. And there's in each of these different situations, there was a moment of like everyone getting together and vulnerability and
oh yeah.
and saying to everybody else, like, I love you. Like, I want to win for you. And it's, and we don't talk about love in business very often, but it's really at the core, like that idea of love in action, the first of the 5 pillars of leadership that I talk about. It's like that charity, that desire, like as a team, that we get the fact that we all care about each other and we all want to win for each other, which elevates the whole project because we know that, oh, they've got my back, I've got their back, and I know that I can give 110%, not for my selfish gain, but because I want to win for you. And that elevates our ability to be motivated and to drive a project forward. Because if it's just for our own, we won't stay motivated, and we'll all be in our own little sectors. But there's that power behind that we all want to win for each other. That is so amazing, and you see it in sports so much, but I think you see it in business too, over and over again, with those teams that really care about each other. And that's why vulnerability-based trust is the foundation of everything.
Well, and I think that the projects that I'm working on and that that Building RX chooses to pursue, having that societal benefit to them lends itself to that so much as well. Like, I think it's easier for a team to get on that same page with those projects that like bringing up Seneca again. I mean, like the benefit that we all know that we're bringing to that community is like heartwarming, and it makes it so much easier to get on that. We're doing this as a team. Like it's not about us. It's about this community.
Well, and on that, sorry.
I think that's it. That's it.
Oh, well, I was just what you said is so spot on. It's like the why, right? Like Simon Sinek, best-selling book, the Why. Patch Lencioni, like, why do we exist? Like, when it's easier, like you said, to create that environment where we're on board together, if there's a greater why, and then we can tie it into the relevance that we each play in creating the success around that why. And when we don't have the why, if it's just like, we're going to hit our numbers and we're just going to drive the work, that does not create sustainable momentum. So you're spot on when you have and even if it's not like an amazing project like that, but just figuring out like what is the bigger why for us, right? That's huge. Yeah, huge.